we tuck it here, right? Tuck the chin, the shoulders high enough, just enough to block the shot. With the right hand, it's the same. Kind of tuck the chin, get it down. I don't want to scrunch up, but just enough to where this blocks it. I can do the same thing with the hook. So what I was taught with the hook is the hook should be at like basically to the point where I should be able to like look over the top of my arm to see you. So it shouldn't be high enough to where I can't see you, but it shouldn't be so low to where I can fully see over. I should be able to hook and have this blocking my body, or my body and my head, and then I can kind of just go from there. So it should be high enough to where chin tucked, my eyes go straight over.
And so like kind of slow motion when you do your hook, do you kind of like slowly turn it as you're going this way, or do you kind of like turn it first and then go?
So it depends on where the shot's coming from. So if it's here, I'll turn it as I come up. Because if I go here and here, it's kind of a weird movement. If I throw the right hand, it's still kind of turning. I never do this and then go, but it's one of those, the more time it has, the less you notice the turnover. So if here, I have to like turn it over super fast. If I leave under, it's a lot more gradual of a turnover.
That makes sense.
You know?
Okay.
So that's why I really I don't like those like jab and hooks, because I feel like it's like that turnover just feels really like, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it.
You're right here, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's not. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer the hooks where I can actually like throw the right hand and get the hook, weave under, slip, and I can get that full shot. That's what I like.
So I feel like the jab is just like, I don't want to call it a bitch slap after the jab and the hook, but it's like, I feel like that's, for me, when I do it, I feel like I'm just bitch slapping because I'm like, here, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't even want to set that jab thing. It's kind of like,
it's like I never use it for like quality. It's more just let me set up the right hand. That's pretty much the way I use it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right. So let's go back to the jab. Where are the areas where you can jab, and what are the benefits of that?
So pretty much like an encounter, you're talking about
just we're boxing. We just started. Where are you gonna jab and why?
Okay. So basically, like, obviously the face, but like there are different areas the face can go. Like,
right.
If you, which I've been working on, is you've been reading me too often with like I jab to the outside too much.
Yeah. So it's really
right,
easy.
and then you're just going inside the whole time. And
yeah.
It's like countering what your counter is.
Mm-hmm.
So what I gotta work on is like maybe jabbing on the inside to kind of switch it up a little bit. Maybe throw some flicker jabs or.
Well, but then I would argue that it might depend on your body positioning. So for example, here, if I throw a jab, where is it most likely going to go? The left side. Okay. Point the shoulder, where is my jab typically going to go?
Inside. Okay.
Yeah. So it could not, like sometimes it's not just where you aiming your jab, but where is your body set up to throw the jab? Because if I'm out here, my jab is going to be here. Versus if my jab's going to be more over there. But then you don't want to run the risk of the argument of jabbing too far to that left side, your left, my right, because that's even more dangerous. Because at least if I jab to the outside and you come in, I can meet you with the uppercut.
Right.
Versus if I'm jabbing more to that side, that's really bad news because I have to turn just to try to meet you. So, there's also even tricks about like where to jab on the head. Sometimes if you can pop the top of the head, sometimes it kind of opens up the chin for the right hand. Yeah, because if I can hit up here and then like once that chin's up, kind of knock the chin there, sometimes that works. All right, so what else?
Okay, so I know that. And I was like maybe every now and then the chest, kind of like maybe get them away or post.
So what's another benefit of the chest jab, of jabbing to the chest?
So like off balance. I guess maybe main thing is like balance.
So it's balance, kind of checking their footwork and their distance, but it's also you can kind of steal a breath away from them. Jabbing to the chest and the body, it's like if I jab to the chest, if you're going, you know,
Right.
and it's like, I'm not actually,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, where you're breathing out and I force you to like exhale, it will mess up your breathing pattern versus like if you're tired and you're like, and you're really trying to get your breath back and it's just a quick jab to the body,
Right.
it's gonna throw your rhythm off, or it's that time where it's like, realistically, you know I'm not gonna hit you, so you kind of still just like breathing through it, but otherwise you, and it's like, you're kind of like, you know how like when you tense a bit, you kind of like react.
Because you're also more used to like, you know, breathing out when you get hit, right? So
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and then it's like a double hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, but even also like when you're boxing, a lot of times, think about it, like when someone's throwing something, you kind of like, right,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
being
not-
overly spazzy just to make a point,
Yeah.
but it's you kind of move and react. So Andre Ward there was a video where he even said, he was like, if you do it properly, you can tire somebody out just by fainting, not even by throwing punches. So if we're boxing, and try to just react. So if I faint, see how you're reacting?
Right.
You know, see how you're doing all that? I
Right.
haven't even thrown a punch and you're reacting. But it's one of those things where the more, I don't want to say scared, but more nervous, and the more you react, you go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, what is he doing? Oh shit. And then before you know it, you're like, I'm tired. No one's even throwing a punch. So the same, you know, so the same thing could be even with a jab to the chest, where it's like, you know, I hit the chest, I mess up your breathing, you also feel like you have to react or do something. You're just using energy. And I'm kind of conserving energy because to jab to the chest, it doesn't really take that much. But if the other person like spazzy, irky jerky, messes up their breathing, I use this much energy, they use that much energy. I continue to do that, they're gonna be gassed out, I'm gonna be good to go, and that's when I'm gonna start,
Interesting.
you know. So same thing, what about the jab to the body?
Jab to the body, so like, what I learned so far is like, to kind of go like this, like a level change, not just down. But I think that there are moments where you kind of want to like maybe stay up and just kind of go down,
Yeah.
kind of throw them off.
So what's the benefit of the level change?
Level change, you slip the jab.
Yeah.
Or any punch like that that's coming like my way, maybe. Yeah, I think that's all I know for like.
Well, what's the benefit
jab.
of the body jab? Why
Body
should you
jab?
jab to the body?
Kind of get their defense like going up and down, like that chest game. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, they're up here, oh, they're open right here, boom, they're up here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, then it's also one of those things where people naturally have a reaction to where if they see something coming, their hand moves to it. So the same reason why I jab to the body when someone has the Philly shell, I can do the same thing where even if you don't have the Philly shell, you're up here, and I jab to the body, and you go to smack it too hard, what's open?
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like gauging that, like, the body jab is not going to do a lot from like, a damage standpoint. I mean, over time, again, you can kind of steal someone's breath from that, and that will add up. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you can get someone to bite too hard, where it's like, oh, they do that full, like, try to swat it away, and they're still in range, I can land that right hand. Or the other thing is, sometimes what I'll do is I'll jab fake to the body and come high. So it's like there's different ways to kind of play around with it, to where it's like if they think they see one motion where I kind of do this, and they think body jab, and I kind of fake. So like you see the level change, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what he's doing. Play around. Okay, that's what he's doing. Play around. Boom. And then you think I'm coming there when I'm going to a different angle.
Right.
So it's one of those. It's a good method, and so what are the dangers of jabbing to the body? Where should you not be? What are problems that a lot of people come up with?
I think the main thing is like just being open when you go low.
Okay.
You
So
think it's all the way down here.
what do you mean by going low?
So when you're kind of like, if I'm going like this, I guess, there's nothing blocking over here except for maybe a shoulder roll, maybe my right hand was like going to go back and forth.
Right.
So I feel like that, or even if I do slip like this, maybe if they know I'm going to do it again, like a telegraph,
Yeah.
they might just still.
Yeah. Kind of like eat it, go with it.
Right. Yeah.
So another thing I like to do is, I know like Mayweather does this a lot, where he doesn't just, he'll like step in and kind of pop out, or he kind of takes the angle with the body jab too. So it's like he kind of moves just a little bit, not like a big movement, but just enough to where if someone tries to counter it, he's not gonna be there.
Right.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is like, a lot of people when they jab to the body, they just stay there. And it's like, if you stay there, you will get hit, you know? So if you jab to the body and just leave it out there, versus if you kind of hit and move immediately or slip and then take an angle, whatever you do, yeah.
Right.
Plus, another point is, if I'm here jabbing to my body, I have all these. If I'm going on high guard and I'm like, okay, I'm scared to get hit, now try to jab to the body. It's gonna take me a lot longer.
So kind of knowing when to employ the jab to the body.
Knowing when to employ it, because it's like, yeah, again, same thing. It's like, if my hands are here, I'm ready to punch. You know, I'm ready to.
That's like the worst time, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be the worst time, especially if I'm here. You know, you're kind of coming straight on. I can wait. I can either take it to the land shot, or I can block and counter. Versus if I'm like here, what am I gonna do? You know, I might.
You gotta like slowly unshell first. And
I have
then
to
start
unshell.
getting the weapons out.
And a lot of times when people unshell from here, it's like a bigger shot.
And I see that, and I can react to do whatever I gotta do.
Yep.
Okay.
So, let's go with countering the jab.
Let's double check
Still
here.
going?
Yeah, we're good. So counter jab.
So if I throw a jab at you, what are the ways to defend it?
Okay.
So not counters, just defend it. We'll go to counters later. So what are the ways to defend the jab? What else? So
It's also
so what I was gonna say was the main methods are catching it, catch swap, whatever you want to call it, like a quick tap, or just catch, or just slips. That's gonna be the main way. Another way, which I watched Andre Ward, Sakio Bika this week. So I was like trying to break down what he does. So a lot of times what people do is it kind of depends on the jab as well. Because if someone's just staying stationary, slipping versus someone like really kind of jumping in with their jab to kind of close the distance.
nice.
The same way you kind of lean the body, if someone's kind of coming forward, I can go there and I can kind of work on the inside or just clinch up.
Right.
He did that because Andre Ward's a really tight, technical fighter. Sakio Bika's a brawler. Like he'll just loop shots. So when Bika was getting frustrated, he would step in with a big jab and kind of try to look for those shots. Every time Andre Ward would duck, and as they're both coming forward, he would kind of come in and then lock up hands, get a couple body shots in. So that's a good way of like, if someone's like overzealous with their jab, it's a quick movement, you know? So try
Kind
that.
of like meeting where they're at just by slipping
Yeah.
to them.
Slipping down. Because it's one of those things where if you do a small slip, throw your right hand and I don't move. Boom. Versus if you throw the big one and I slip down here, you're gonna have to come all the way here versus I can close that distance.
Right.
Or just kind of like, I can even bump off. So there's a lot of things I can do.
There's no way this is gonna come over.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of a difference of, do I want to close the distance, work the body, or clinch? Do I want to just stay on the outside just to like, just defend the shot and then think about what I'm doing? Do I want to slip and then counter? So it's kind of like all those things you can build off of. So what are the benefits of slipping? What are the benefits and dangers of slipping versus the jab versus blocking?
Danger getting hit. Benefit is like you get able to kind of like make him pay, I guess.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to notice, but making someone miss makes them a little bit more tired. Versus if you catch it, sometimes if you notice like
that rebound,
you get that rebound,
Yeah.
and it's like versus like if I catch here versus if you slip, I'm extending all the way. Sometimes I might overextend, you know. So you kind of get that effect. But then, so what are the benefits, pros and cons of catching the jab?
I guess, yeah, catching, kind of the opposite, I guess, like what you just said, like when catching is like you help them out to rebound.
Uh-huh.
but benefit is like you have like, you know, more surface area to it, so like you reflect punches and like a higher percentage of, for like a newbie like me, to block punches.
Yeah.
Than just slipping and getting hit maybe.
Yeah.
So, also had a question for you on the sidetrack, but like, what about parrying punches? Like,
I kind of, yeah, the catch versus parry, I kind of count both of them in like the same type of group. Because whether I just catch versus that, it's kind of like
because you can't always be like, oh, I'm not gonna block, I'm just gonna parry. You don't always think that, right? You're just like going with whatever.
I just get, yeah, because it's one of those things where if all the force is directed one way, like if you're just coming straight, it doesn't take a big movement. I don't have to like, you know, I don't have to like do it like an old karate block. Sometimes literally just a quick like just a quick touch, or even just
it's like 2 in 1. It's like a block parry.
Yeah, I can even let it kind of just slide off my hand, and then it doesn't take a lot, you know.
I see. So it's like so close. It's like you
I consider them the same thing.
Okay.
But one of the dangers of that is when you catch, if you're not on, like if you're not like stabilizing, I've seen people literally get hit when they try to catch. So like they try to catch a jab up here, or it's like right in front of their face, and they're not like solid enough. They kind of just have a hand up and then it just smacks them in the face.
I've had that a few times too when I first began, just like too soft.
Yeah, because you're just like, oh, I have a glove up, not knowing that it smacks you.
And I think it was Ariel was just like popping me in the face, like, ah. And he's
Yeah.
like, come on, Joe, come on,
Yeah.
keep it up.
Or the other thing with that is, if you go to the extreme of, like if we're boxing and you're throwing shots, that's fine. But if I'm going here, or it's like I'm like reaching, you know, then it's like you're opening up. If I come here, you jab, and I go here, what's open? Yeah, you can immediately, if you go over, so I'm gonna jab, if you go over and block over, I can kind of come in with the hook. So it's kind of one of those things where that's in boxing, one of the biggest things is you want to block by doing the least amount possible, and you want them to miss by the least amount possible. So for example, if you're throwing a jab and I slip, I want to slip here. I don't want to slip all the way here. Well, unless there's that example where I'm kind of coming over and stepping in. But if, like, for example, if you're throwing the right hand, I want to slip there. I don't want to slip here.
Right.
You know, because it's like that's how much extra effort, how much time it takes. Because it's like by the time I slip here and I come all the way back, versus if I'm just here, I can counter back faster, or if you come up with another shot, I can kind of see that coming and kind of like move under, you know. I can kind of see those things happen a lot faster. So it's one of those, if you're slipping or weaving, again, same thing with weaving. If you're throwing a hook, I just want to slip under. I don't want to like full squat, you know, like come all the way under. So it's like, so make them miss by the least amount possible without getting hit. And if you're blocking, doing just enough to block it instead of just like reaching out for it. Because the thing with the blocks is what a lot of people kind of just like freak out about, and it's like they're just like reaching out for it, and I'm like, you know where it's coming. If they're jabbing to your face, you know where it is.
It's just, you just gotta go right here from here to here.
Yeah, like, okay, your jab may start here. I know where the end point is.
Even right here, you know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, I know where the end point is. Versus, so it's like why do I need to like reach out for it?
True.
When it's like I know where it's coming. You know.
It's the same intersection of all the pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Why like reach out to different pathways, like way out there.
Exactly. Because so the benefit of like, okay, if you jab and I stop it out there versus the jab and I stop it like right near my face, what was the benefit of reaching out?
Nothing.
You know, there's no benefit. End goal was the punch was blocked.
Right.
You know, so that's, and I even make that mistake when I get into it, and I'll just be like, oh, like I have to react, and I just move too much. So that is something that you have to like pay attention to. Like you'll notice like you like
it's like human instinct to want to like reach all the way out, right?
To reach all the way out.
Just stop it, you know.
But then it kind of comes into the next level of when you're in there with someone better who actually is throwing feints. Versus like
you're gonna see like, oh, he's reaching out.
Yeah, right. And then it's like I may just go, okay, he's reaching out, and then you reach out, and then boom, that's when I take my shot.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those like, you want to get rid of your bad habits, stay safe as much as possible. So it's like those small differences of like, okay, yeah, I know how to block. But the difference between blocking here versus blocking out there is a world of difference. You know? The difference of slipping here versus slipping here, the general person's gonna think, oh, he slipped the right hand. The experienced guy's like, he went way too far. It's gonna take him a long time. Let me cut him off the shot.
Right.
You know? Anything else you wanna go over?
So did the left and right, defense. Yeah, I feel like just my defense is get better. I need to work on that because when someone throws me a jab, I just know like this now. That's about it. But I feel like I should use both hands, right? To kind of like parry.
Yeah.
Don't be
It's
predictable.
don't be predictable, but it's one of those things where I typically block the jab more with my right hand than anything else. And it's one of those things where what's the problem if people recognize that? So for example, if you're jabbing me and I'm always parrying with my left hand, what are you gonna do?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see the difference of if I overextend, that's a big difference. But if I come here versus here, that's not that much. Your arm has to move a lot more to hook. So if I'm doing this, and you're like, okay, let me try to get around it, hook.
You can still easily.
Yeah, I can still easily come there. Or the other difference is, again, I have more options. So jab, hook. Just because I'm going here doesn't mean I always have to use my right hand. I can use my legs. Because it's one of those things where in boxing, your defense is pretty much your hands, your feet, your head movement, and your body movement. And it's like those things, because there's guys out there where they're all different. They're all good at really different things. Winky Wright was pretty much a hands defense guy. Mayweather he was kind of good at a lot of different things. But if you had a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, his head movement wasn't that good. He relied on his footwork. So it's like there's different guys that are successful at different things, but boxing defense is all of them and how they work together. So it's like I prefer more of a hand defense, but it's like at the same time being aware of where can you take angles, where can you use other things, and then it's like, yeah, like doing a jab here, that's a lot of movement compared to this, you know?
Right.
Or just if I cover and I literally just shell up, I can literally just shell up for that split second, take that hook, and then counter. So it's one of those like we all have habits. Bad habits lead to bad things. Good habits could potentially lead to bad things, but not as often. So it's one of those like if every time I throw a jab you do something different, you block, you slip, you roll, I have no idea what you're gonna do, which makes it hard, versus if you do the same thing right, it makes it, I can kind of be like, okay, maybe I can try this, but if you're doing everything right and you're still staying safe with the fundamentals, it's still gonna be hard to catch you with a shot. It's those things where you're doing something bad, where you're like, oh, I'm flinching, or oh, I'm overextending my arm, or oh, I'm just taking a step back. Those are bad reactions, you know? So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I think I gotta
Yeah.
get workout and then get going. But appreciate it, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate the mindset.
I feel like that helps both of us because it's like, even just the reminders of like,